I'm gonna have to apologize. Lamar. So I want to backtrack just a little bit.
Okay.
Because my boy Chris said, by my description, which is a super team is 3 superstars in their prime. He said the Showtime Lakers might have been.
Hey, Mel, I got you.
All right.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was nowhere close to his prime, bro.
He was at his prime. Okay.
He was way out of his prime.
Right.
He was hanging on, and he had a good rookie called Magic Johnson that helped save the day. Let's not do that. Who was that? Chris LaCour?
Nah, that was my boy Chris Shoppers, man. High school buddy of mine.
Yeah. We can't. We can't do that. We can't do that. We're not gonna do that.
I mean, Kareem was a superstar, but he was past his prime, which makes it different because now I can't get that same output from you. Like LeBron, even now past his prime, but it's different. You can't get the same output from him for 82 straight games, and sometimes you can't even get it for 4 straight quarters, right? So it's totally different. Magic was definitely a superstar in his prime. He might have been a little bit before his prime because he was a rookie when he won that championship. Yeah, so and then James Worthy.
James Worthy was third.
I would. It's
not a superstar.
He's a fringe. He's on the borderline because the reason why he wasn't a superstar is because circumstances didn't let him reach it. Kind of like Clay being the third wheel behind KD and Steph. He never got a chance to show that he's a superstar until he get his own team. And I don't think he go ever have his own team. And that's the same thing with Worthy. But we know, it's certain guys like Clay, maybe even Ray Allen and James Worthy. Those type of guys, I think I can get them superstar title, even though they didn't prove it. They didn't get an opportunity to prove it. That makes sense.
Oh yeah.
They didn't. Like Worthy could have been, but that's we talking about potential then. At that point, I feel like his game was big enough to go somewhere and do that, but he wasn't.
Mike, why we tripping, Mike?
He said we tripping.
Hey, look, I'm not saying that my definition is everybody's definition. That's just mine. And if you use that standard, you won't be running around calling every team that has a good record a super team.
Yeah.
Because if you use that standard, the 73-9 Warriors wasn't even a super team. They had one superstar in Steph, a French superstar in Clay, and then
a good role player in Draymond.
Yeah, Draymond's not a superstar, right? And same thing with the Bulls, Pippen and Rodman. Rodman was not a superstar.
Yeah.
So I mean, even Pippen was a fringe. Pippen and Worthy, Pippen is in that Klay Thompson, James Worthy, where maybe he's a superstar. He never got a chance to prove it. He had 1 year without MJ. He did well, but
not superstar status though. He did well.
I mean, he was in the MVP discussion.
MVP discussion, but there's a difference between being in the discussion and being the discussion. So I mean,
there's also a difference between a superstar that everybody in the whole stadium and the team know that you're getting that last shot, and a guy who's going to get it, who Tony Kukoc is going to get the play drawn up for him.
Yo, you took the words right out my mouth. You took them right out my mouth.
Hold on. So
if they ain't drawing up the last play for you.
Yeah, let me get to some of these comments. Chris Sharpless, who was stopping Kareem in that part? Probably nobody. But he was past his prime. He was past his prime. But let's just let me go ahead and concede that argument. Let's say we can still count him as a prime superstar, and then you got Magic before his prime, but let's count him as a prime superstar. And then you got French Worthy, who may or may not be a superstar. Let's just say all three of those are superstars in their prime. Okay, Lake Show, by my definition, would be a super team. Okay. I give you that, right? Then check his past his prime numbers. Yeah, his numbers was good.
Look at LeBron numbers.
Yeah, right now, LeBron numbers still good too. Yeah, you got the most unstoppable shot in the NBA history, a sky hook. You can get that every time. Worthy was a superstar of his time. Okay, I agree, but like I said, it's hard for me to prove that. Like I agree that Worthy's a superstar, but it's hard for me to prove it because he didn't prove it because of circumstances. Cooper, who was Cooper? Oh, Michael Cooper.
Michael Cooper
was closer. Was closer than what? With superstar?
He's saying Michael Cooper is closer to Clay than Worthy.
What that mean, Mike?
As because he's saying that you kind of categorize as in James Worthy in that Klay Thompson kind of mold, as in being a sidekick, but he's real good and don't know if he's superstar. He's saying he would have went with Michael Cooper instead of James Worthy as in that role. I think that's what he's. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, Michael Day. So go ahead and comment. If
you know what, I do you one better. I get through these comments, but at the same time, I put the number down there for y'all to call in. Chris Sharpless said Kyrie had plenty of opportunity, haven't proved it. And I listed him as a superstar. What y'all think? Y'all think Kyrie hasn't proved that he's a superstar?
I mean, name a basketball player in the NBA that can do what he do with the basketball. And to me,
proved that he was the star. I think he proved it in Cleveland before LeBron. He was clearly the best player on that team. The team wasn't that great, but it was clear that he was different from everybody out there.
Hey, Zo, remind them who took the last shot to beat the Warriors.
Yeah. I mean, you can't. I mean, for y'all, when did Kyrie prove it to y'all that he was a superstar?
Well, anytime that you go one and done and only play 9 games and you went very high in the draft.
Number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
All
right, I got Mike on the phone. Mike, what's up, Bones?
Man, y'all just woke. Look, I wasn't even gonna call in for real. I was like, I'm not gonna just call in because if I call in every time I have an opinion, I'm gonna always call in. Started talking about Kyrie Irving.
Right.
Is not a superstar.
Okay.
He didn't prove nothing. I mean, if you think he's a superstar, then Kevin Love was a superstar too. But realistically, some people are just good losers.
Wait. Let me. Wait. So Kyrie Irving is not a superstar. All right. So Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving is totally different. Kevin Love,
they're totally different types of players, but they're both really good losers.
All right. So there are superstars who wasn't able, because of circumstances or maybe play style or opportunity, wasn't able to win a championship.
Kevin Love or Kyrie Irving? I'm not sure.
I'm talking about Paul Pierce, right? Do you think Paul Pierce is a superstar?
I give you Paul Pierce being a superstar.
Okay.
I'm on the back end of it.
Okay, so did you think he was a superstar before he won?
Yeah, on the back end of it.
Okay, so he didn't do anything more than what Kyrie did when he was with Boston. But I mean, he had Boston before KG and Ray Allen showed up. Paul Pierce was a failure.
Here's the thing about Paul Pierce, though. I fully believe that Boston would not have gotten as far or any further than they did without him. They would have did less without him.
I agree.
This is the difference between Kyrie and Paul Pierce, because Boston did go very far without Kyrie.
Yeah, but you got to look into the circumstances of that.
It's hard to like just naturally say, because it's always circumstances. Who knows? Kyrie might have got there even further than they got that year.
I agree, and
it's hard to.
And let me refresh your memory about that Boston situation with Kyrie. He shows up with Gordon Hayward, and they were supposed to be the guys, right? Brown and Tatum was so young, we didn't know when they was going to emerge. Rozier, we didn't even know he was going to even get PT because he was a guy that barely got drafted, right? So, and then Marcus Smart was there. So here it is. Kyrie, before he went down with the injury. Now, first and foremost, the first game, Gordon Hayward was gone for the season. So now it's just Kyrie by himself, and the Boston Celtics within, like right now, where we at right now, quarter way through the season. At that moment, Boston Celtics had close to the best record in the league. Kyrie Irving was in the MVP discussion. And was playing phenomenal basketball, and then he went down with an injury, right? So that's the first thing that happened, and then what happened from there is that Jaylen Brown and Tatum just figured it out and emerged, And the same thing with Terry Rozier, and they overachieve. And guess what happens? Gordon Hayward and Kyrie comes back the next season and immediately goes into the starting lineup. And you looking at Terry Rozier, Tatum, and Brown like, hey man, we balled out in the playoffs. Went, I think, 6 or 7 games against LeBron. And here comes Kyrie and Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward can still barely run, and he's in the starting lineup. It caused friction in the locker room, and that's what did them in. That's why they did worse.
That's 100% a fair statement.
Yeah, and that's why they did worse that season.
Back down from my point, but it doesn't understand where you coming from. I ain't never coming off of this. I'll come off of this like when he showed me something right with the Knicks, not the Knicks, the Nets. When he showed me something with the Nets, I'll come off of this. But at time being, either way, no matter what you say, if he is or isn't a superstar, it's all gonna be speculation from both ends.
Okay.